Hey, good morning, students. Now, today we are going to study the signal analysis, and this signal analysis is mainly done in two domains, time domain and frequency domain. But before proceeding to the signal analysis in time domain and frequency domain, just quickly recap the last lecture that we have studied. And in the last lecture, we have started this first module, signal analysis and sensors, wherein we have understood that what is meant by a signal. So signal is a physical quantity which contains an information, and it is mainly expressed mathematically as a function of independent variables. And this is the example that we have considered and we have studied last time. And the one more definition we made is signal is any time varying function like current or voltage which carries an information. And then we have studied the various kinds of signals, various types of signals, and the very basic type of signals are analog signals and digital signals. Analog signals are the signals which varies with time, and those are continuous signals, whereas these digital signals are the signals which are not varying with respect to time. So that's why those signals are called as the discrete signals, not a time varying signals, and therefore these digital signals are not continuous signals. Rather, this kind of signals exist in terms of digital logics 0 and 1. And then we have studied the classification of the signals, for which we need the sensing element or a device. This sensing element or device is called as a transducer, isn't it? And this is a pictorial diagram wherein the signal is sensed by a transducer, and transducer converts that signal into a electrical signal. Then electrical signal is passed on to the next analysis unit. This analysis unit may be your monitor or oscilloscope or anything else, right? Then we made the definitions of transducers and sensors. Transducer is a device which converts the one form of energy into another form of energy, and its two examples we have considered, that is thermocouple and thermistor. And next, the sensor is a device which measures the physical quantity and converts them into a readable form, that's called as a sensor. Next two type of signals are dynamic signal and static signals. And dynamic signals are the signals which are continuously varying, those are not stable, is called as the dynamic signals for any particular time block. And static signals are the signals which are steady, constant, right? So next kind of signals are stationary signals and non-stationary signals, right? And these kind of signals are classified based on whether the signal is exists at all time t or it exists at a discrete time, right? So, and we have studied the examples of stationary signal and non-stationary signal. So a needle of the sewing machine is an example of a stationary signal, and moving vehicle with a speed whose speed is not constant is a non-stationary signal. So this is what we have studied in the last video lecture. Now let's go for the today signal analysis. And any kind of signal is analyzed in these two domains, time domain and frequency domain. So if you compare both the domains, time domain and frequency domain, so the frequency domain signal analysis is more easier than time domain. So let's go one by one. So time domain signal is a plot of amplitude with respect to a time, right? If any signal analysis is plotted amplitude with respect to time, then it is called as a time domain, right? And let's consider one example. Let us say this is a signal, any kind of a signal. It may be a sound wave or any other wave. So the time period of this signal is given 0.04 millisecond. If you calculate its a frequency, the frequency will be f equal to 1 by t. So this will be equals to 24 kilohertz. So 1 upon 0.04 millisecond will give you 25 kilohertz. This calculation is more easy, right? So in case of a frequency domain, so frequency domain is a plot of amplitude with respect to frequency. Instead of time, we are considering here a frequency, and if you plot this, then we'll get such kind of a bars, right? And the difference between these two bar is called as a bandwidth, right? So the amplitude is in decibel here, that means it's a sound wave signal, and the frequency is in kilohertz here. So let's go on the next slide. So this is one more example in case of a time domain. The same signal we have considered here. The time period is 0.02 millisecond. If you calculate the frequency, then the frequency will be equal to 1 upon 0.02 millisecond. This will give you the 50 kilohertz, right? And if you merge both the signals, that means above signal and this signal, so both signals will be different because their time period will be different and frequency is different. So if you merge both, then we will get the complex signal, right? And therefore it is not easy to identify the stability due to complexity of the signal in time domain. So in case of a time domain, the calculation of the stability of the signal or any particular system becomes more complex because of the complexity of signals, isn't it? Whereas in frequency domain, the difference between the two bar is a bandwidth, and hence the frequency domain will get the frequency spectrum, isn't it? In case of a frequency domain, we generally get the frequency domain, and because of this frequency spectrum will get, and because of this frequency spectrum there is no merging of signals, and that's why this frequency domain analysis will be a less complex, right? And therefore because of the less complexity and the frequency spectrum that we get, the identification of the stability of any particular signal in case of a frequency domain becomes more simple, and that is possible in frequency domain. So we have considered here one example. Let Hs is a transfer function of the system. We have any system whose transfer function is Hs. It is more mathematical. So Hs is equal to s plus 1 upon s plus 2 into s plus 3. This is a transfer function, and we know that it has a pole s equals to minus 2 and minus 3. If these poles are plotted on a real axis and imaginary axis, right, then we could easily find out that these poles lies on the left half of the plane, right? That means in the second quadrant, right? And if these poles lies on the left half of the plane, it means that the system is stable, and thus in this way we can easily find out the stability of the system by using or by analyzing the signal in frequency domain. So that's why the frequency domain analysis is quite easy. So you can easily figure out here the signal in the time domain. These are the various signals 1 2 3 4 signals we have considered. Y is equal to sin x, y is equal to sin 2x, y is equal to sin 3x, and y is equal to half of x. So these are the 4 signals, and those all 4 signals are merged with each other, and because of merging of the signals, this looks like very complex structure, right? And in case of frequency domain, the complexity is reduced, and this was the one of the advantage in frequency domain. Only disadvantage in frequency domain is that we cannot identify the phase of the signal. The phase identification in frequency domain is not possible, and this is one of the drawback of frequency domain signal analysis. So this is all about the signal analysis. So signal analysis is mainly done in two domain, time domain and frequency domain. Let's move on the next topic, that is signal to noise ratio, right? What is meant by noise? Noise is an unwanted signal or disturbance, and hence we can say signal to noise ratio is defined as it is a ratio of signal power to noise power, or I can say signal to noise ratio is equals to average signal power divided by average noise power, and therefore I can write mathematically signal to noise ratio is equal to PS divided by PN, where PS is signal power and PN is a noise power, right? And in case of a decibel, I can write this signal to noise ratio is equals to 10 log of PS by PN. So this is a formula. Signal to noise ratio is equal to 10 log of signal power to the noise power, isn't it? And in terms of voltage, we can write this power P is equals to IV, we know that, and therefore we will get the signal power is equals to IV, and we know that V is equals to IR. If you put the value of I here, so we will get V by R. So this will become V square by R, Vs square by R. Vs square is for signal voltage, right? So Vs square by R. Similarly, for noise power, we will get here Pn is equal to IV equal to Vn square by R. So what is Vn? Vn is a noise voltage, and if you put these both values of PS and Pn into this above formula, so we'll get this signal to noise ratio in decibel equals to 10 log of Vs square by R divided by Vn square by R. So this RR gets cancelled with each other, and we will get, so signal to noise ratio in decibel is equal to 10 log of Vs divided by Vn bracket square, isn't it? And if you transfer this square by laws of logarithm to here, so we'll get by the laws of logarithm signal to noise ratio in decibel is equal to 20 log of Vs by Vn, and therefore we can say thus high value of signal to noise ratio is good for transmitter and receiver. This is the conclusion of this signal to noise ratio, and hope you have understood this today's lecture on signal analysis and signal to noise ratio. Thank you.